Hello and welcome to
That's
a
a
Wrap.
Wrap.
I'm Phil,
I'm Jeff.
and today we're going to be talking about Mandalorian season 3, episode 3 and 4. We're going to mush them all together, but before we continue, we're going to let you know this is spoilers. We're definitely going to be spoiling it, and also everything that goes on in this show is not real. Okay, once again we mentioned before, but there's no such thing as Mandalorians. No Beskar armor, no mythosaur, none of that business. This is all for entertainment purposes. Stuff we like to talk about with friends, fans, people like y'all, just so we can have some kind of discussion and to make sure that if it's worth watching. I mean, because think about it, you pay for this, all right, as we pay for it as well. So if you haven't been watching any of our videos, Mandalorian is on Disney Plus. So if you don't have the service, go ahead and subscribe to it. 7-day free trial, right?
Yep.
Okay, and that won't be enough time for you to get caught up.
There's way too much.
Way too much, because it's like little tidbits. Is the Mandalorian? Then there's Book of Boba Fett.
Oh man, there's all kinds of stuff on there.
All kinds
of Obi-Wan.
Yeah, because everything is gonna eventually become connected. All right, so let's continue. So, Mandalorian episode 3 was is called a convert, meaning that if you haven't watched it, the converting is pretty much one person or a couple people gonna convert from one faction to another. But in this case, it shows the conversion of Elia Kane. Elia Kane was a commander on Moff Gideon's ship.
Gideon's light cruiser.
Yeah, and at this point in time, the new Republic has taken over, right? And if you've been captured as an Imperial, the enemy of the New Republic, you go into an amnesty program.
Yep.
And that's where she is. She's in the amnesty program.
Kind of like a work release for prisoners.
Right. They're trying to reform you to the ideology of the New Republic. So if you was bad, they want you to be good. Pretty much. In this particular episode, we show Elia Kane, that's her name, and Dr. Pershing. If you remember Dr. Pershing, he was the doctor that was trying to get the midichlorians in season 1, right? Of Mandalorian,
trying to get the
Grogu.
blood from Grogu.
Yeah, from Grogu. So the Imperial, I guess they was whatever they was gonna do at that time with his blood. That he was a doctor, and come to find out, he was the one behind cloning, right? Yeah, he was the one behind cloning.
One of the people that involved in cloning. The main cloners were the Camino.
El Camino, yeah.
Caminoans.
I'm gonna say El Camino.
El Caminos. Can't drive them.
Yeah, can't drive that one. But the whole basis behind it is that they're trying to, of course, figure out a way to, I guess, revive or bring back Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, the Snoke factor thing.
Right. So this is pretty much takes place before Snoke, or before Snoke.
Way before.
And
this is at least 20 years before Snoke.
Yeah, and with that, Pershing's in this amnesty program as well. During this episode, you go through his little spiel about how his mother died, but he was more of an organ cloning. He was more organ cloning. So we're not really sure about.
He just thought that his cloning techniques could be better used with the New Republic.
Right.
And he was trying to explain this to them in a big setting where he had a big audience.
Right. And in this same episode, this is the one where I believe Bo-Katan and Din Djarin had bathed in the
living waters.
That's the end of episode 2.
Yep.
That happens. So in this particular episode, after the whole Dr. Pershing, and actually Elia Kane shows that she truly isn't part of the amnesty program as well, because she ends up betraying Dr. Pershing to show that she's still on Moff Gideon's side. So I guess they're cleaning up loose ends. And he was one of the loose ends, since he was genuinely seeming like he was going to be part of the New Republic. and he really wanted to help the New Republic, but the program or the work he was doing, they frowned upon it. They frowned upon it, and she kind of was planting seeds in his head, like, hey, look, maybe they don't appreciate you, and he still was showing his loyalty towards how he wanted to help the New Republic. Like, he really wasn't a bad guy. Like, he had no choice but to help them, the Empire, I'm sorry. And so she betrays him to the New Republic and make it look like, hey, he's not really with you guys. And they do a mind wipe on him.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they don't do a mind wipe.
She sets him up pretty good.
Yeah, she set him up pretty good, and she's the one who cranks the machine up. So...
probably scrambled him.
Yeah. So whatever information he knows is probably gone now. And also in the same episode, the armorer confronts Bo-Katan.
Yeah, Bo-Katan and Din go to where the all the Mandalorians are in their new culvert in the cave. And they pretty much accept Bo-Katan as part of the clan.
Yep, and since
she takes the Kree.
Yep. And because she bathed in the living waters.
This is the way.
This is the way. That's right. And so she can't take her helmet off. Right? Can't take it off now. And she also mentions to the armor that she saw the mythosaur.
Yeah, she does that in the next episode, though.
Okay.
In 4.
In 4. So let's go ahead and talk about 4 as well. Is that the name of that episode is called The Foundling. So obviously,
something with the Foundling's going to happen.
Yeah, something with the Foundling's going to happen. So what we do, we start off in this episode.
All of them are training on the beach.
Yep, and then this is where they show Grogu actually have his first training as a Mandalorian. With
some paintballs.
Yeah. They call it darts. Now I think they could have did a little bit better.
Yeah.
With that little choreographing.
I don't think any Mandalorian foundling would actually choose paintballs. But
no,
hey,
I don't think so either.
They had to do something Grogu could handle, I guess.
Yeah. Which is, I was like, it's interesting how he's gonna become a Mandalorian Jedi. Is interesting, it's real interesting because he's so little. He really doesn't have any weapons except the Force.
How you gonna put a helmet on him?
For real,
is it gonna have ears?
Right? I mean, I think that I would like to see how that's gonna work. So they have this little choreograph with him fighting one of the other foundlings with the paint darts.
Who happens to be Paz Vizsla's son.
Right, well, we don't know about this yet.
We don't know that
yet in this part of the episode. But the whole thing here, they could have did better, but I understand what they was trying to do. Some of the things he did, like Bo-Katan was like, "Oh, did he learn that from you?" He's like, they were talking to Din Djarin. He's like, "Oh, he didn't learn that from me." So there's a lot of stuff that he's doing that he's obviously learned from Luke during his time of training.
Yep.
Okay,
or from the Jedi Academy beforehand.
Yep, true. That's
he
true.
Probably learned a lot of good things from Jedi.
But remember, his mind is still kind of
he kind of blacked everything out.
Yeah,
because he was so scared.
It was a tragic time for him, and they also in this episode have a flashback of Order 66 with Grogu.
Yep.
And we also get to meet Kelleran Beck. Right. So now in this episode we find out who saves Grogu
at the Jedi Temple.
Yep. During Order 66, and it's Kelleran Beck. And they have that scene. It's a pretty awesome scene. He's a pretty awesome Jedi too. If you want to learn his backstory, just look that up, because the actor also has a backstory that's pretty. I'm not gonna say it's tragic, but it's touching. He has a touching backstory, because he was actually the actor who played Jar Jar Binks. Right, and just, things happen in his life, so him coming back, Well, not coming back because he also was Kelleran Beck in a TV show around COVID time, 2019.
Yeah, he was in like a kids TV show where they had kids learning to be Jedi or something.
Yeah, but it didn't hit. I guess it didn't.
He also had a cameo as a dad or grandfather of Kelleran Beck, as another Beck in the bar scene when Obi-Wan and Anakin go into the bar, and there's a guy standing next to the guy that's trying to sell the death sticks. He's another Beck.
Okay, there we go. So he has a pretty good lineage of story.
Yeah, he's got a good connection to Star Wars.
So we're definitely going to be seeing more of him because we don't know if he was killed or died. We don't know. All right.
Yeah, they get on a ship and they take off, we don't know what happens after that.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully they'll go ahead and explain that or show, how that turns out. But
him being Jar Jar though, that's I guess to most fans that's the least favorite character ever in Star Wars.
Yeah, and to be honest, that kind of hurt him to his core as an actor. So
an actor, that hurt him.
Yeah, so there's a story about that. So you can, on your own time, if you're interested in, just go ahead and look that up. It's a pretty sad story, but it turns out to be amazing.
Death threats and everything.
Yeah, he got death threats and everything. But you guys can look that up. But to continue here with episode 4. This is also the episode where Grogu gets his first piece of Mandalorian armor. All right, the armor.
It's a good size of chest plate.
Yep.
With the mud horn on it.
Yeah, and also before we kind of jump the gun here, but this is also the time where Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, and the other Mandalorians go to save one of the foundlings, actually, because when they're on the beach and Grogu does win the match, for some odd reason, this giant, Screech Hawk, they call it?
Screech Hawk.
Yeah.
Space pterodactyl.
Comes flying down and snatches him up.
Swoops down,
snatches up Paz Vizsla's son, one of the foundlings that we, which, that scene right there, I was like, out of all these Mandalorians on the beach,
how's that big old thing gonna swoop down and just grab him without even
and
getting a shot off before it grabs him?
And the thing about it shows them training, and they're dumping firepower into the everywhere.
They're launching missiles. They're going to town. These people are ready. How can they not get one shot off on this thing?
Yeah. And you know what they say?
Well, they go after it and their jetpacks all run out of fuel, and they just kind of casually say, "This happens every time, and we lose a foundling." Like nonchalant. There goes another foundling. But this time it was Paz's son, so.
So yeah, he pretty much. I'm not gonna lie. I think he did give up though.
He did.
He did give up because he's like, he's gone.
The only one that did not give up was in a ship.
Yep, and Bo-Katan. Yep, Bo-Katan was the one that took the ship, followed it, so they could go save him. And during this time, Grogu couldn't go with them because they got a scouting party together to go save this foundling. But Grogu couldn't go. They told him to stay because he wasn't ready.
He's too small. He's just not ready for stuff like that yet.
So that's when she goes ahead and makes his first piece of Mandalorian armor. And
which is pretty cool, actually. Hooks to his nice little chainmail thing he already had made for him.
Right on his boop.
You can hear the suction when it goes on. Yep. It was pretty cool.
And so that's the episode that officially says that he's a Mandalorian.
Yep.
So he's a Jedi and he's a well, I ain't gonna say he's a Jedi.
The little screaming bird thing.
Yep.
That man that Din has.
Yep.
He can launch that.
He can launch that. That's right. Because now that's foreshadowing using the darts when they was using the darts. That's foreshadowing.
He get his own little screaming bird, whatever it's called.
So, like I said, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what happens with that.
I agree.
And then in this episode, at the end of this episode, is when Bo-Katan tells the armorer she saw a mythosaur.
Yep.
And she
actually gets the mythosaur on her piece of armor that she gets replaced.
Yeah.
And the night owl is already on the other side.
Yeah, that's right, when they were saving the foundling from the screeching.
She really gets brought into the faction after this because
Yeah.
she saved the foundling, which is the highest honor supposedly.
It's saving the foundling, and
And she brings 3 more foundlings.
yeah, because when they went to go save her, it was a mother, of course.
Screech Hawk was
Screech
a
Hawk
mother.
was a mother, so they get to the nest
And
with a
it gets
foundling.
8.
Huh?
It gets 8.
Oh yeah. Yeah. By the
big
alligator that they
alligator
fought.
turtle thing.
I thought that was pretty cool, but the whole flight, them flying and the fighting in the air, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole CGI on that was great. They did a great job on that. So this is another exciting, action-packed episode in a way. 3 really wasn't that action-packed because it was more doing the Dr. Pershing background thing. This is all done in Coruscant. 4, the very beginning starts off with some action, but that's them practicing, and then the founding gets snatched up. But
4 is pretty action-packed.
Yeah, 4 did have some action in it.
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
pretty action-packed.
Yeah, I watched that like a whole bunch of times.
Some of it's a little ridiculous, but it's still action-packed.
Yeah, for real. So at the end also, she brings to the armor, hey, we got new foundlings, which is the baby that was in the nest. So they captured them, and now the Mandalorians have potentially flying, shrieking hawks.
That won't run out of gas.
Yeah, won't run out of gas. So now they can save all the foundlings.
Yeah.
Okay? But that has meaning as well. Those Shrieking Hawks have meaning to the Mandalorian because there's also a faction called the Shrieking Hawks in the Mandalorian history. So that has some background.
That's just why they've named them the Shrieking Hawks then.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Those were called the Shrieking Hawks. They actually were not indigenous to that planet that they're on. All right, so that means they were brought there from Mandalorian to that planet.
Right.
And there's a faction, of course, on Mandalorian that was called the Shrieking Hawks. I want to make this clear too. The show's called Mandalorian, even though they call him Mando, Din Djarin Mando. That's not his name. Okay, his name is Din Djarin. The Mando is just short for Mandalorian. All right, so I mean, it's been going. I've watched some other YouTube videos where
not
they call
everybody
him Mando.
calls him Mando though. So it's...
No, I'm talking about like people who make the videos.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they calling him Mando, but that's not his name.
No, his name is Din Djarin.
Yeah, his name is Din Djarin. So at the time they called him Mando because they really didn't know. Well, what's his name?
Grief Karga is the one that calls him Mando all the time.
Called him Mando all the time because he was part of the Bounty Guild at that, and he was a Mandalorian. So I guess he didn't want to use his real name at that time.
Nobody even knew his real name until the end of season 1.
Yeah.
When Moff Gideon said it.
So, just remember his name is Din Djarin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, don't get it confused with Mando. Now, with that being said, we did bundle up 3 and 4 because we, to be honest, we are a little behind on it. But if you haven't watched it yet, I hope you're watching this video to get you updated.
The end of 4 too. When Bo-Katan brings up the mythosaur to the armor kind of passes it off like it's a vision and not real.
Yeah. So I mean, with that, we kind of have some, we gotta have some doubts about the armorer. She's kind of making herself look a little sketchy, and she's kind of a mysterious character so far because no one knows too much about her.
Things ain't adding up.
Yeah, not adding up. Because I mean, the whole thing with her is this whole creed and the Mandalorian history, and then when Bo-Katan brings up she saw the mythosaur, and she kind of like brushes it off.
Yeah, like she doesn't believe it.
Yeah,
she just brushed it off like it was a vision that she had.
Yeah,
because she chose to follow the way now.
And you have to remember, she's the one who told Din Djarin that Mandalorian was cursed and you couldn't live on it.
Yeah, the planet Mandalore was cursed.
Yeah.
Poisoned.
Yeah. And so when they got there and found out that wasn't true, I think that kind of threw a monkey wrench, no pun intended, because she is the armorer. And her, I guess, plans she may have. All right. But that's going to be on another video. We'll probably have some theories on that as well. So when you get a chance, give us a thumbs up. Tell us what you think. Leave it down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. What your ideas may be, how you liked episode 3 and 4, what you thought about it. We'd love to hear from you. And with
any theories?
Yeah, any theories
would be great.
Be great to know. And with that, that's
a
wrap.